Hello and welcome to this very special, very spooky, very mysterious episode of the We Pay For Your Floor podcast. My delightfully demised denizens of the underworld. My name is Balthazar Titwangle, and I am joined by
McCall.
And
I'm Sarah.
McCall, Phil, it's a bird.
Macaulay Culkin by any chance?
No,
The star of
bird.
the...
McCall's a bird.
I fucking know, Andrew!
Goose.
And today, on this episode, we will be splitting up and searching for clues.
Flamingos!
I have the birds back.
It's your worst nightmare, Phil.
It is!
All the birds are back.
I didn't expect the Halloween episode to get off to such a terrifying start. But before we split up and search for clues in true Scooby-Doo fashion...
Osprey!
You just Googled birds, did you?
Barn owl!
Sarah, how's your floor? That's our floor you're looking at, you pillock. Oh, you're looking at your book. I forgot you have words. I just saw you look down. I asked you how's your floor and you looked straight.
A vagina,
You looked straight down at our floor. Give it a good flick
You've got to
through.
make sure you've got the right page. Did you fold it where you left it?
No, I have a bookmark.
What's that dangling? Is it a tampon bookmark?
It's got a lovely tassel. It's even got a finger so I don't miss what line I was on.
I bet your vagina's a choose your own adventure book.
No one ever makes it to the end.
Exactly. You're getting quite close, and then it just says turn to page. Do you turn to page 69 or 302? And then they always pick the wrong one, and then you don't finish, and then you have to kill them.
That's it. Every time, bury the bodies.
Like a praying mantis.
Yes,
Ah.
but not as skin.
Oh.
But just as green.
I mean, you're not an insect.
Just what you think.
Oh,
I could be.
not again.
Don't
Not again. We found another one.
Don't mansplain what being human is, Phil.
Oh, I am no one suitable to be explaining that.
You were asking how my floor is.
Yes.
Yes. It's put on a few pounds and trying to lose some weight for floor summer.
Instead of hot girl summer.
For the purpose of the tape, Sarah looks very proud of herself as she rips the lid of her pen out of the pen with her mouth and then quite eagerly scribbled out that answer from her book.
That I thought long and hard about.
Oh my.
So question, is it put on pounds because it's pregnant?
No.
And if so, how did your floor get pregnant? Did our ceiling do it?
Is your ceiling identifying as a male, is it?
I think it identifies as white, to be honest, looking at the colour.
It does, yeah.
Do ceilings and floors...
Do ceilings have floors? Is that what you just asked?
No, I was going to say, do ceilings
I
and
mean,
floors...
some of them do have, like,
I was gonna
mental
get into
illness
the,
and very
into-
impatient, so they have flaws in that regard, yeah.
I was going to get into the complexities of architectural reproduction, but I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
How floors and ceilings reproduce. Do you think walls are just ceilings and floors children?
Do you reckon that's how the shard was made? The Gherkin just fucked a skyscraper.
That could be it. You know, a ceiling has to have plenty of walls to support it in its old age.
Genius.
Mm.
Anyway, what was the subject?
So, I thought, in the spirit of Halloween, and I've not actually read.
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
Spirit of Halloween.
yeah.
Did you do it on purpose?
I don't know anything. But in the
How ghoulish of you.
oh shit on me. So I thought we would have a little mystery.
Okay.
This is called The Secret of the Scarecrow's Mask.
Ooh.
So I've got a little story
Okay.
that I'll read through.
Mhm.
It is very little, and then we have to guess what it
Not
is.
signing to get the full version.
No, I've already done that. No, let me just... Oh, there we go. There we go. Lightning flashed through the castle window before the sky returned to darkness and rain. I trudged down the hallway, my candle flickering in invisible drafts from the stormy chill outside. Suddenly the candle lit up a face. "Evening, Squire," said Bertram, the caretaker. "You startled me," I said, though I was glad he was there. I'd started to investigate the mystery of the Scarecrow mask, and there were a lot of questions. It was a small Scottish castle, miles away from the nearest town. Behind a large wooden door in the front, I discovered the whole first floor was a single, enormous room. Dark stone staircases led on either side to an open second floor, which was filled with shiny armor from the Middle Ages. It felt like the ghostly bodies of knights, preserved for centuries and now left on display. Above that was a dark top floor, which Bertram had converted into rooms for guests. But unfortunately, he'd only attracted 3 paying customers. "And now I've lost me prime exhibit!" he wailed. 2 of his guests emerged from their room. Mr. and Mrs. Winfrey, an elderly couple, had heard our voices and were wondering if Bertram was serving dinner. Mr. Winfrey was a large man who looked like he'd enjoyed many dinners. But Mrs. Winfrey just seemed unhappy to be so far from home, especially in a castle where it rained all day, complete with its own spooky mystery. "I'll tell you how it began," Bertram said. As we gathered around a long wooden table downstairs, Bertram's son, Chester, prepared a traditional dinner in the cook's quarters outside. I don't know why the cook's quarters were outside the castle, but, you know, perfect place to prepare a meal in the rain.
Yes.
As we munched on roasted chicken and potatoes, Bertram described a fierce battle that never was. "The sheriff was searching for a dangerous outlaw," he said. "He watched the roads and searched the fields and determined that he must be hiding here in this very castle. He sent for the Vikings, for the kings, not the Vikings. Fuck the Vikings. There's no Vikings here. He sent for the king's soldiers. There's no fucking Vikings. Who responded with 100 men, each armed with swords and spears. That dangerous outlaw would not escape their justice." Lightning flashed outside. "They searched the first floor, but he was not here. They searched every suit of armor, but he was not there. And then they searched the rooms on the 3rd floor, but there was no trace of him. From dawn they searched, and through dusk they searched, but the outlaw was never found." Mrs. Winfrey seemed confused, and she'd obviously never heard the legend before. "Where was he?" she asked. "He was right here the whole time," Bertram warned. "I watched them come, and he watched them go. At any time he could have reached out and touched them. He stood out in the field in front of them. in plain sight, but he dressed himself as a scarecrow. All through the day he stood, arms stretched out on either side, like an innocent straw man propped up to frighten away birds. We all laughed. Such a silly man. And Bertram most of all. It's what made this castle famous, and I've loved that story since I was a boy. I don't know what this accent has become now. When I came here, I vowed I'd preserve what became known as the castle of the...
It sounds like... Who's the dumb one in Ed, Ed and Eddie?
Ed.
It sounds like Ed, but Scottish.
At least it sounds mildly Scottish.
Mildly being the optimal word there.
Became known... I vowed I'd preserve what became known as the castle of the Scarecrow, along with its heritage. Amid all the armor upstairs, there's just one piece that the tourists will come to see. The mask that the outlaw Scarecrow wore. But now it's gone. Silence filled the room as we heard the rain beat against the door. That's outrageous, said Mr. Winfrey. We've travelled over 3,000 miles to see that mask. My retelling of that legend could make me the best-selling author. Am I doing
You're doing really well. You're doing well, love. Ah, crack on.
Mrs. Winfrey.
I don't know what that noise was, I'm sorry.
You got a duck stuck in you.
That's a bird.
Fucking hell. Mrs. Winfrey added proudly that her husband was writing an exciting book about the history of famous outlaws, then sighed that she was just along for the trip. I wondered if she was miserable enough to sabotage the castle's prime exhibit. Bertram explained the crime. The Scarecrow's mask stood on a pole at the center of the armor exhibit upstairs, as though surrounded by the armor of knights that it had fooled. 20 minutes ago, shortly before opening the exhibit, Bertram entered the floor, only to see the pole standing conspicuously bare and empty. Oh, fuck it, you're getting this one. Maybe the Scarecrow's ghost took it. Oh, said a sharp voice from the hallway. Well, fuck it, that's now a sharp voice. A well-dressed man descended, the third guest at the Rainy Castle. I'm proud of my family tree, said Charles Kincaid defiantly. And of all the generations that went before, there was only one who achieved infamy in the pages of history. He was a sheriff, yes, that sheriff, and he lived the remainder of his life in disgrace for failing to catch a notorious outlaw. Everywhere he went, people whispered about his tremendous failure, outwitted by a silly mask and some straw. There was more rain and more lightning as Charles entered the dining room. Anticipating my thoughts, he announced, "No, I didn't steal the mask, but I wish I had. And I'll tell you one thing more, and he'll tell you it for free. I hope you aren't able to find it any more than my sheriff ancestor found your hidden outlaw." Chester laughed at Bertram's obvious dismay as he carried in a pecan pie that he'd prepared in the cook's quarters.
Outside.
And I began outside, yeah, and began the search for clues. Scooby-Doo time. It was eerie to stand surrounded by empty suits of ancient armor, but it soon paid off. Bertram and I discovered a trail of footprints that led to the stairs. The thief came from outside, I told Bertram, who seemed surprised. But it's cold, rainy and windy night. Who would want to leave a cozy castle for an evening like this? I can't be sure, but I don't notice any of my guests having wet hair. Each guest agreed to let us search their room, Bertram searched through all of the bags that Mr. Winfrey had bought, along with his room, but there was no sign of the Scarecrow's mask. And while Charles Kincaid had 2 fine suits hanging in his closet, a search of his room, his suits, and his pockets all failed to turn up the Scarecrow's mask. "Perhaps the king's soldiers have been fooled again," he sneered. If the thief hadn't travelled upstairs, perhaps he'd headed downstairs. There were no clues on the east staircase, but on the west staircase my candle illuminated a strange white scrap, which was wet and slimy. I tilted my candle to the floor and discovered a potato peel. As though having a second dinner, everyone gathered around the table downstairs. I announced I'd determined who'd stolen the Scarecrow's mask. Now I leave it to you two to decipher who do you think, Mr. Winfrey, Mrs. Winfrey, Bertram, or Charles Kincaid? Who do you think stole?
Wasn't there a cook?
There wasn't any cook. There was Bertram who was preparing all
Oh,
the
he was
food.
making stuff in the
He was like the
cook's
caretaker,
quarters.
and he was making stuff in the cook's quarters.
And Bertram, surely.
You're saying Bertram, so
Because
because
of the potato.
of the
you'd
potato
thought so.
peel.
No, but no, he's not wet. No, 'cause
No,
he wouldn't
no,
be,
right.
because it's just like a red herring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then where's he keeping the mask? Just on his person, or in the night in one of the armors?
Let's ask my investigator.
Oh,
I got bored.
so you drew an investigator on your hand. Where did you even get the pen from?
What does your detective handy thing?
Ah!
I think that was dollar stock.
But what do you think the kill the thief is?
I mean, what is there even to go off of?
So we've got a he's managed to figure it out from potato peel and some footprints. So we should be able to do better.
We should be able to get it from that.
You should be able to do it from that. So it's on a plinth in the middle of the hallway,
Where all the
surrounded by
suits of
knights.
armours are.
Yeah.
One thing was that I'm leaning towards the lady who's Mrs. Winfrey,
Yeah.
because she's as she said, just along for the trip. She doesn't really care, and I'm sure the detective guy said that Mrs. Winfrey just seemed unhappy to be so far from home, especially in a castle where it rained all day, complete with its own spooky mystery.
They have come 4,000 miles, so it could be the husband that stole it because he's a fan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The butler stole it because.
But if he stole it, then he's not got anything to.
He can take it home with him.
Yeah, why would he
No,
not
you-
take it home and then use it as part of his story?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
like
good point. He
stealing
likes
it
these-
as part of the mystery that he's writing.
Maybe.
Although
Yeah.
he's not writing mysteries, he's just writing about outlaws.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So I don't
Perhaps
think
he's
he'd want to
just a
steal the
huge hyper fan.
artifacts.
If you're a
'Cause-
huge hyper fan of something, you want to like have a piece of
But
it.
he's
don't
more
you?
like a like sort of documentarian sort of archivist writer person.
Maybe the butler stole it for it to be more exciting. Maybe.
What's the significance of the fucking potato peel? This is so stupid.
The potato peel could just be that it fell off that person, and the one person that would be peeling potatoes would be the butler.
Yeah.
Bertram, whatever. his
So
name
you
is.
thought it was him?
Are we
Hmm.
settling on him then?
I don't fucking know.
Do you want to go with him?
I'm gonna go with Bertram.
Sure.
Let's go with Bertram.
Okay, we will go with. Just Bertram. Your solution was correct.
Whoa!
Hey!
Nice one.
Yes, it was him.
Ah, what does he say? Why? It's always the butler that does it, man. It's always the butler that does it.
doesn't say why.
Oh, right, okay.
It just says
What
that.
was his motive, Phil? What was his motive?
But we were amongst 72.5 other percent of other people who also got it right.
Toit.
So
Well, that
it's-
was a waste of 20 minutes of my life.
No, it was great.
Sorry.
I thought it was good little
I
mystery.
thought it was going to be more riveting than
No,
a
I
potato
enjoyed
peel
it.
did
I
it.
enjoyed listening to a potato did it. It was the butler. It's always the butler, man. Where does that come from, actually? Why is it always the butler? Where does that come from? I don't think I've ever seen a murder mystery where it's been the butler.
Agatha Christie?
Is
It's
it
got to be
Agatha
Agatha
Christie?
Christie.
No, what? Which Agatha Christie one is that?
The one with the butler.
No.
Agatha Christie, the
Commonly
Miss Marple
attributed
book.
to Mary Roberts Reinhardt, her otherwise forgettable 1950s novel The Door is notable for spoiler at the ending in which the butler is actually the villain. The actual phrase "the butler did it," however, never appears in the text.
Oh right, shit. The butler did it.
What was that about Reinhardt?
That was the name of the woman who wrote this novel where a butler actually did do it.
Okay, so it wasn't the Overwatch character.
No.
I mean, that would be amazing.
But
I want an Overwatch murder mystery. That would be interesting. Who do you think would do it?
Fun fact,
I'm playing
just
Moira.
some on the Google page now.
Yeah.
In Agatha Christie novels, the butler never did it.
Oh right,
Ah.
no, about to say I can't think of a single murder mystery where the butler did do it. And yet it's a thing.
Well, that was fun.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the storytelling.
I thought it'd be a bit less obvious than that. I'm not gonna lie. I
Well,
thought
that what
there'd be more...
he did pick the 72% success
Ah,
rate.
Yeah,
yeah,
I wanted to pick one that we had a chance at, and
Yeah.
it seemed like it was just a slightly longer story than I was
No,
anticipated.
I think it's. I
which
was fine. It was
bored
only
the
like a
shit
few
out of
minutes.
this one.
Yeah, a little bit.
I enjoyed it.
5-minute mystery felt like a lifetime.
Good. Yeah, certainly longer than a 5-minute mystery.
I didn't feel
But-
like it. I was listening. I was engrossed.
Oh,
I was
marvelous.
engrossed.
At least one of us was.
Would you like a story that Chris told me, which is an old Boy Scout
Oh, who touched
scary
him?
campfire
I was just
story?
thinking, that was my first thought.
It's an old
Please do.
campfire Boy
The
Scout. one.
Savile Man will get you.
Oh, I laughed before then realised that's not okay. Okay then. Okay.
Jim will
let's
touch
see.
it.
It's not okay, Andrew.
Jim will touch it. Oh, shit. Okay, so here's the story. So there's this writer. He's got terrible writer's block, right? He's trying to write this murder mystery novel. It's not going well for him. So what he does, he books a cabin in this, just outside this little quaint Americano village, if that makes sense. It's in the middle of nowhere, it's just in the middle of the hills. He travels up, lovely day. He travels through the town. It's quite a small town. There's like, one shop, there's like one traffic light, there's people know each other, it's that sort of small community. He drives through and he thinks I best get some supplies for the stay. So he goes into the general store, picks up some bits and bobs, gets some snacks, and the lady behind the till is quite attractive and he starts chatting her up. And they start talking about what he's doing there in the town. And he says, "Oh, I'm a writer. I'm a writer, and I'm trying to get some peace and quiet so I can try and get rid of this writer's block to write this book." He says, "Oh, I'm staying at Thingy Cabin." And he gives her the name and everything. She's like, "Thingy Cabin," and he's like, "Yeah. Have you heard of it?" She says, "Yeah. Not to scare you or anything, but you do know that it's been rented out quite recently by some city folk, but there was actually like a man and his kid found in the wardrobe, been strangled to death. They don't know where the mum is. They looked for her, but it's been a few years now. But they reckon she ran into the woods, but she'll have died from exposure by now. But just to let you know, that's what happened."
Windows do that.
Windows do that. And he says, "Oh, all right. No, I wasn't made aware of that. And she says, "Oh, well, not to frighten you, but we've not had any weird stuff go on or anything, but it seems right that you know." He goes, no, I appreciate that, thanks very much. Gets a number, puts it in his pocket, and drives up to the cabin. It's a long winding road. It's quite outside the town, really. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's a self-sustaining cabin, so it's got its own gas. It's got running electricity by solar panels. It's got its own water supply by another stream. It's gorgeous, very picturesque. It's covered in snow as well, so it's a lovely bright day, but really snowy. And he gets in, settles and everything, and it comes to that night, and he's got a fire going. He's got a little radio on, and he's just typing away because he likes the old school typewriting. So he's typing away, click, 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 like soft radio in the background. And he thinks he hears something outside. He goes, turns his music off. Turns his radio back on, carries on. Thinks he hears something again, and he turns down the radio, and he hears.
The purpose of the taping isn't being picked up on the microphone. Sarah is scratching at the table.
He goes, okay, that's really weird. It's just that the story she's told me has spooked me out. I'm gonna see what it is, just to put my mind at ease. So he turns the radio. He's turned the radio down. He's still listening, and it's stopped. He goes, oh, it's probably an animal. And then he hears it again. Shit, better see what it is. It's probably just an animal. I'm fine, it's okay. So what he does instead is there's two windows either side of the door. There's a window in the door, but he hasn't got the balls enough to look out the window of the door because it's freaking him the fuck out. So he goes out the side window and he pulls back the curtains a little bit, and there's a woman stood at his door, and she's got her hair all down, all mangled. It's got leaves in it, it's got knots in it, it's really matted, and she's wearing what looks like a really dirty red dress, and she's got what looks like, from his angle, it looks like she's got a hand on the door. And he goes, oh shit, this is really weird, it's probably just some woman in the woods, it's got nothing to do with anything. So he sort of slowly just backs away a little bit and just sort of leaves the radio off and kind of just slowly goes upstairs and locks himself in his room and goes to bed. Goes out the next day, daylight, goes to the front door, there's nothing there, there's nothing, no scratch marks on the door, there's no footprints in the snow, nothing. He's like, do you know what? It was just a freaky story, it was probably some whiskey I had drank last night, it's nothing. Goes through the day, his writer's block's starting to ease a little bit, so he's typing away. And the next time he looks up at the clock, it's like 9 o'clock at night. It's got dark outside, he starts to close the curtains, and there he is again, radio on, typing away. He hears it again, over the top of the radio this time. It's proper heavy at the door this time. So he goes, oh right, this is stupid now. Turns the radio off, goes to the window, opens the curtain a little bit, and there's a fucking face in the window. He shits himself. He lets out this really little like this, closes the window, makes sure the door's all locked, runs up the stairs to his bedroom, closes the bedroom door, shits himself. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, there's someone around the house, there's someone around the house. So he hears this real banging at the door this time. It's really scratching, it's really banging. Nothing. And then he hears the front door start. It literally opens it. And he's thinking, this is great. This is gonna make my book. He hears, and then he hears some very soft padding downstairs, as if wet feet were just making their way across the hardwood floor downstairs. They stop and look. And he hears this really soft. He's like, she didn't just say that, she didn't just say that.
Do that again, just
Shits himself, oh my god, what's happening? He hears this padding start coming up the stairs. He's like, oh my god, she's in the house, she's gonna come and get me, oh my god, I don't know what's happening. So this time he runs into the ensuite bathroom. He closes the bathroom door behind him as well. He's like hiding in this thing. He then hears it come to his door, and then he hears through the door. I don't really want to know, love. I don't really want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. The bedroom door opens. No ease, no banging, no clocks licking, nothing. It just opens again. Padding right the way up this time, right the way up to the bathroom, and the door swings open, and there's this grotesque, dirty ass woman stood in the doorway, blood all down one hand and down particularly one finger, and it's been going down, flowing down in torrents, and she's covered in this red dress covered in dirt. She starts walking up to his face, pointing in his face like this, and he's like, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me, I've not done anything. She goes, do you want to know what I do with my red finger? He says, no, I really don't want to know, I don't want to know, please don't tell me. She goes, I
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's the end.
That's the end.
I love it.
Story.
That's
Oh,
marvellous.
great. Now that's how you tell a story, Phil.
I was just reading something.
That was engrossing.
I'm sorry.
That was shit. That was fun.
From the internet. No, but that was great. I'm going to cut mine out.
I do that, but I don't want to smudge Senor Mustache.
Oh, thank you for that.
Anytime.
That was
I'm glad
marvellous.
you enjoyed it.
In the interest of the season, I think I mentioned earlier to you, I do have a would you rather.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is very of the season. One of them is more. It's just kind of very topical at the moment, so I thought I'd mash the two together. Would you rather be trapped in one of the Saw films or the Squid Game?
Oh, Squid Game.
Squid Game.
I think Squid Game. There you go.
Bit
Next
less
question.
grotesque.
Next question. Yeah, the Saw films they are just.
I saw one clip from. I don't like
No.
so.
I don't like gore.
Yeah, I see. Funnily enough, it depends on. It really depends for me because there's some films
the
I've seen
game.
that have like a lot of gore that I'm okay. Like Reaper the Genetic Opera is a very underrated film. It's kind of shit, but in the best way. It's really fun.
Yeah. Camp. That
It's
sort of thing.
very gory.
Right, okay.
Very, very
But no, I
gory.
don't like. If it's like camp gore, that
It
makes
is
sense.
kinda
It's
camp
clearly,
gore.
Clearly like a rubber
But
ant.
considering there's a part where Anthony Stewart Head cuts open a man's body to harvest his organs, but then sticks his hand up and uses him like a puppet.
Oh my god.
Isn't that also the film where Paris Hilton's face falls?
Yes, it is.
Oh my god. Right. Okay.
You need to see this film. It's quite entertaining.
Yeah. Okay.
So like gore, it varies. Sometimes I'm okay with it, sometimes not. But with I think when it feels too realistic is when it starts.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
I think that's why you
I've
like Reaper, because it's so over the top.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very, very over the top. But like I've seen like one clip from a Saw film, and I'm sure it was a thing with dirty needles or something. There's like a puzzle.
Ooh.
They've got to search for this key, but it's in like a pit of dirty needles or something.
Oh my god.
And I saw this clip and I couldn't
No.
get even like 2 minutes into
No,
it because
that
it
sounds-
made me feel sick.
Ooh.
It was so gross.
That's good. I've seen one. I think it's the one where he plays with the detective and where a prostitute's hair gets pulled off. It's like scalping her.
Oh, I
Oh,
think I've seen that bit as well.
it's disgusting. Don't get me wrong, they're very clever, but at the same time, I worry if any of the writers were ever hugged by their mothers. Because I seriously doubt it. They have all got serious issues. But like the Squid Game had like story to the characters as well, which I think was really good, and you kind of had a chance of living, whereas in fucking
In Saw,
Plus,
you kind
not
of have
being-
a chance of living.
right,
losing a
no,
hand.
no.
Usually only one person has a chance
let
of
me
living.
put it
but-
out there though, right? In Squid Game, if you lost, it was kind of an instant death.
yeah, that's
In
true.
Saw,
It
it's just
wasn't.
torture.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah.
Plus, and this is gonna sound so like inconsequential compared to the body torture that you're going to get put through.
Yeah.
It just looks really disgusting, and I don't know if I'd be able to cope with that level of mess.
Yeah.
Like, the
dirt.
walls look really grimy, and
Yeah.
there's like dried blood everywhere,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know what, I'm good. This room could do with a
You've got to
clean.
give them credit though. They managed to start an entire franchise with one room, because that's what the entire first film is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just one room and 3 actors. Is it?
Yeah.
And just some chains on the wall. That's
Yeah.
it. That's the entire film. So give them credit.
It's like the 2 main guys and then the guy who was behind it the entire time
Yeah,
who was
it's
just
like
there.
it's like Inside Number 9, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? They are such good writers that they make it a damn good story in the space of one room. That is impressive.
Yeah.
But no, I can't stand stuff like that.
In fact, from what the story that you just told us reminded me of that Inside Number 9, the Christmas Lodge, the cabin, the winter cabin episode.
The one where it turns out to be a snuff film.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
That one was great.
that did not take the turn I expected it, especially from the lady. She was the lady from the
'Cause-
Midwives, weren't
Yeah.
she?
Because
Yeah.
they framed it as like this sort of B movie, sort of
Yeah.
horror kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
it's like, now the
Surprise, bitch!
surprise, the filming is done, but
Yeah.
we're filming something else.
Yeah, surprise, motherfucker.
Don't be
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, no, I
Well-
think I prefer the Squid Game.
Yeah, I would.
Plus, like, surrounded by Korean men.
Some of them were really hot.
They were,
I know he turned out to be a bastard in the end, but the businessman,
yes.
fucking,
Very
he's
pretty.
very attractive.
Yeah, and what's her face in it as well, who dies?
Yeah,
Oh my
the,
god.
I know the character's called Cybiok, I can't remember her name.
Stunning.
but she
what
was-
the
Stunning.
crazy lady.
No,
The one-
no,
the one with the wolf cut.
the thief.
Oh,
Yeah.
the thief.
Her death
Beautiful.
is the one that got me.
Oh yeah, that was really
Hers made
tragic.
me cry.
But that was like really awful death as well, wasn't it? Really tragic.
Okay, so that's gore that I struggled with.
Yes.
Was the part where she was pulling the glass out of her stomach.
Yeah,
That
and
made me
when
feel
he
a bit
got her
gross.
throat, yeah, that I don't like that. It's not nice.
No,
There's,
that-
have you
that's a
ever
bit
seen
mean.
13 Reasons Why?
No.
Don't watch it. It puts you in a depressive episode. It's so fucking shit, and it's so fucking boring, and it's so fucking depressing. But I forced myself to watch until we
Isn't there
find
like
out.
a graphic scene where you watch her like cut herself? Or
Yeah, but it's
something?
not even like it's not. Oh, we see her face and she's cutting her wrist. You actually see her cut her wrist, and that. I know it went through her, but it went through me. It really.
I know it went
me.
through your skin, but love,
Oh,
not as much as it went through me.
He went through, gave me the heebie-jeebies. I had to fast forward it because it was just so visceral. Is the word visceral, and it just. And her mum's reaction, the actress's reaction, was actually very, very good. The mum who found her was sort of like immediately in the process of grief. She was in denial to start with, and obviously she was already dead. She'd been there a few hours, so she'd bled out. And her mum went through denial immediately, and it was actually a very good bit of acting, which made it even worse. It made it very tragic. But that bit was just nasty. Gore, I don't like.
Okay, so funny that we mentioned that, because one thing I wanted to do is, what scares you?
Adulthood.
That is just a very, very...
Bills. Needles. Spiders.
Well,
Goose!
oh, no!
Mallards!
Swans.
Cranes.
Okay, Sarah, here's something scary. Let's juice
No. Oh shit. Yeah. No, needles and spiders genuinely are something.
Needle spiders.
Needle. Don't do that. Needle and
You ready
needles
for your
and
flu
spiders.
shots?
What? No. Needles and
Don't worry,
spiders.
they'll spin you up a wet bandage.
They're the only things that make me feel like running, or that make me sweat and genuinely shake and start crying. Those are the only things that.
What sex did that to?
No, that's Chris. Chris is scared of me having sex with me.
He's scared of you having sex
Because I'm a
with you.
spider made of needles.
Oh my. That explains the little skittery noises.
Job?
Yeah. Oh, they're just, I can't, I'm sweating now. I've just got a hot flush because I'm thinking about needles and spiders.
No.
I just can't.
No.
Fun fact about me, listeners, is I'm not scared of spiders.
No.
I actually rather like them.
No, they are not
Because I'm
natural.
weird.
Yep, you are the
So
wrong.
this topic
You're just
doesn't,
wrong.
well, that conversation doesn't bother me. I have no problem
I don't know
with
where it comes.
spiders.
I don't mind bears. I don't mind fucking snakes. I don't mind scorpions. I've touched a scorpion. In fact, I lifted a scorpion and threw it out the way.
I genuinely thought you were going to say you dated a
I
scorpion
dated
at
a
one
scorpion
point.
once. He's a great guy. Great fella. Great fella.
I'm sure Scott was a nice person.
Scott, if you're listening out there, Scott the scorpion. Yeah, just
Scott the scorpion.
Scott the scorpion.
She left me for another American.
Yeah.
But a shit one who left the country.
But yeah, any dangerous animal I'm not afraid of, but spiders and needles I just can't.
Funny that all the spiders we get here are like completely harmless.
No, they're not.
No.
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 They'll insult your mother and bring down your self-confidence. They are.
I mean, they can do the
dangerous
first part. They already do the second part.
little
My self-confidence died many years ago.
In the Great Spider Incident of 2011.
Yeah.
They just, it's just a weird move. But it's why I don't like skinny girls.
You can't trust them.
They're eight limbs.
Yeah. I think it's the thigh gap that freaks me out a bit. Reminds me
And
too much.
spiders are all thigh
They
gaps.
are all thigh gaps. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
It's all thigh gaps and venom with them.
I know. And you don't know whether I'm talking
Which
about
one of them
skinny
is
women.
also skinny
No,
women?
it's
Yeah.
that you don't know whether I'm talking about skinny women or spiders. Telling you now. That and
And they
contemporary
both
art.
spin webs.
Do spin webs of lies.
Yeah, I was gonna say the spiders spin
Lie.
webs of silk, the women spin webs of
Lies,
lies.
exactly. Skinny women and spiders and needles, that's where it's at. Just get sweat.
And depending what the skinny woman's wearing, there's always something coming out of their butt as well.
Exactly! Do you two have phobias? I don't think you
I don't like spiders, and I don't know.
public
I
speaking.
see.
You don't like people.
I
to
don't
be
like
fair.
people. Yeah, I just
I think you're quite terrified of a lot of social situations.
yeah.
sense,
If
yeah.
you put me in a situation where there's people,
Mm.
then I will
Have sweats and run away.
either that or I will just become a statue. Is
Okay.
that- Mm. Mm.
Are we doing that Nintendo yet? No. That's okay.
When's the buffet gonna be served? There isn't one. That's just that's instant panic, isn't it? Then why am I even here? You tricked me.
Just because I've been to 2 weddings in the last like month and a bit, I just want to I feel like I can have a personal vendetta against weddings now. Is because both of them had buffets, and both of the buffets were shit.
Oh,
But I think that's really because I'm quite a fussy eater. But like
Oh.
all the last one on the other week was mainly just like sandwiches and stuff.
Okay.
But a lot of them had like mayonnaise and shit in
Oh,
them.
do you
and
not
I was
like
No, I
mayonnaise?
fucking hate
Oh, of
mayonnaise.
course you
and I
don't
was-
like mayonnaise.
And I was
do you?
like,
Got a bit of salt in it. Oh
I was
no.
like, this is disappointing.
Do they not have the quiche, drumsticks, garlic bread,
Quiche
Quiche.
can fuck off.
drumsticks? Do you not like quiche?
No.
Oh, I love a quiche. I love a quiche. I do. I love a good quiche. Lorraine or otherwise.
That's the problem. I've never had a good quiche. I don't think.
Are you experiencing flans? Because they're very easy to confuse.
No.
Is it just a
It's
crust-filled
quiche.
flan? Are you thinking about?
It's a fucking eggy, oniony, whatever the fuck it is, mess of just no.
I don't know why the phrase "oh, I love a good quiche" has just set me off.
I do like a good quiche. Joe. Not that
Why
bit,
is quiche?
bit of bacon.
Why is quiche not like quitchy?
Don't. You've ruined Chihuahuas for me. Don't ruin Queshi for me as well.
Quitchy. It spelled like quitchy. I don't make up the rules.
You just observe them.
Yeah, exactly. And
Queshi.
be baffled by their
Quiche. How would you spell quiche then? Quechi.
ESH. It's how it sounds. Quiche.
In that kirsch? In that cherry?
No, there'd be an R in that.
Oh yeah.
I think I go with Keish or something like that.
I know her.
Actually, yeah, that's close to like Keisha or
It's
something.
Keisha,
like that.
isn't it? Yeah, Keisha. Yeah,
Miss
yeah, yeah.
Keisha, Miss
Question.
Keisha.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Who
basically
were-
it's Keisha without an A on the end. That's how
it,
you
yeah,
spell quiche.
Oh.
So, what's your? Have you got any phobias? Small social situations.
No, change.
As in, like, in your pocket.
Yeah, he hates ones and two P's.
Oh God, you can't go into a shop. Someone says, "You want any change?"
That's why he only pays with card now.
Oh. Specifically, what change? Can it be made up of pound coins? Or can it be made up of 2 pences? Is it specifically coppers?
I mean, well, everyone should be afraid of them. I mean, it shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be.
As in, like, you know.
Where are you keeping your change?
No,
Andy?
I dropped the back of this pen, and I'm worried it's now like stuck
Up
in my
your
ass.
arse.
Oh no, it's on the floor. I found it. I'm worried I've been sat on it.
I killed a spider by sitting on it the other week. Did I tell you that?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you also
Poor
killed the
spider.
spider by putting a glass over it and leaving it there for a week with its leg trapped under the rim with a cocktail book stuck on top of it in case
reading.
it got out.
It's reading material. It's just providing it library.
At least you
equipment.
gave it an entertaining death.
I like
This is
the
how
thought
you
of
rid the world of spiders.
This is it was
Slowly
fine.
It
one
called
by.
it called like its parents going like, I'm
I
sorry,
love
I'm
you."
going, but on the upside, here's how you make a good vermouth. Just to see.
No, I like the thought of a spider, me accidentally killing a spider by sitting on it, and its last thing that went through its mind was my arse.
Yeah. Oh no, it's Spygap!
That lack of thigh gap, I
I was
think.
like, you're
Find
oh,
a thigh gap, I have to do a split in order to get a thigh gap. So
what angle?
yeah, so change.
360.
360.
No, so like, as in change in lifestyle or something
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
So moving is always like a terrifying prospect to me, that
Mm.
kind of thing.
What?
And then falling.
Oh, falling?
I'm terrified of falling.
Oh shit, so do you not like heights then?
So it depends on the situation that the height is in. Because I like roller coasters.
Okay,
I
yeah.
really like, but that's because you're strapped in
Yeah.
and you're safe,
Yeah.
and that makes it fun.
Mm.
You think you're safe.
Yeah.
But like, I tried abseiling once, couldn't do it.
No.
Was terrified.
Abseiling's great.
Because you're relying on it's you that controls how far you fall, and
Yeah.
if you don't trust yourself, then
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
gonna feel.
My mum and dad
falling.
years and years ago thought it'd be fun to take me and my sister on a day out
and Robin.
to on a day out to Rotherham Leisure Centre to go rock climbing, to try the
Nice.
rock climbing walls. I don't think they liked me
No.
because I hated it, and they kept trying. I can't do tenses right now. To encourage me to actually, go to the top.
Mm.
And I could do the smaller walls okay, but
Yeah.
the bigger ones were just a no.
Yeah.
And they put us on the biggest one. In all fairness, now I'm older and I look back on it, I think this is kind of wrong of the instructors to make, or to like,
Oh, was
you
that
know.
the one where they dropped you like without telling you? You said don't
Yeah,
do
I'm
it. and
getting
they
there.
did.
I'm getting
yeah,
there.
Sorry. Yeah.
I feel in hindsight, I feel like they should have been. I should have reported them for this because this is
Yeah.
kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like they could tell I was like not enjoying it and quite scared,
Mm.
but yet they decided to still make us go up this biggest wall.
Yeah.
And climbing it was okay.
Mm.
Climbing it was fine. I could do that bit
Yeah.
easily. It was the looking down and having to come back down that was
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And I very, very slowly started to just climb back down.
Mm.
And they're like, oh no, just like lean back like you're about to sit down
Mm.
and we'll drop. You know.
Yeah.
No, I tried it and immediately clung back on because I was terrified.
Mm.
And in the end, one of the instructors came up and he said he was going to climb down with me,
Mm.
but he didn't. He just ripped me off the wall and he dropped me.
Yeah.
I hated
They
it.
they say that's supposed to help you get over the fear. It's like, when someone says that I'm afraid of water and a swimming teacher throws them in the deep end
And then they drown.
and then they drown. But we had a swimming teacher who did that, and he just gave so many people fears of water because he would just go, oh, just get in, and throw them in the water as kids.
Yeah.
Obviously, some kids would go, oh, it's not that bad, it's okay. But then a lot of kids would go, oh my god, I
Oh
now
my
have a
God.
fear of water.
I'm going
Thank
to
you very
die.
much." Exactly.
Yeah, so that was
That's
not
wrong.
fun. I hated that.
Yeah.
That's what led to me having one of my very first panic attacks was in a club
Whoa.
because my drunken friend Yasmin decided that she would pick me up and spin us around on the dance floor, like full on pick me up, like
Whoa.
fireman style. And I literally said, as she picked, I went, Yasmin, put me down. You're gonna drop me because you're
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah.
And like what, 5 seconds later, she like slipped as she was spinning, and I got thrown onto the dance floor and was like almost in tears because I was terrified.
Yeah.
But all the people on the dance floor, because suddenly this random twat got thrown into them, everyone was just stood looking at me, and that made it worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I bet that must. Yeah.
See, I don't go to places where people are, so I don't have those kinds of embarrassing situations.
I think the older I've gotten, the more I face my fears. Apart from spiders and needles, but like like social situations.
I want to know how I want to know how someone can
I'm used to looking like a twat.
Spiders, like sit you down and make you have a conversation with them.
Well, Sarah, drama therapist Sarah, she has done this for like not an exposure therapy, but a new type of like trauma therapy that it's supposed to help you with any.
Because of this fucking house visit, I can't hear exposure without thinking of windows now. So all I'm thinking is just window therapy.
Yeah, but she wants to do like this experimental fear therapy on me with spiders and needles. So we see how we go. But the older I get, I used to have a fear of being in public and looking like an absolute idiot. You know, when you're learning something new.
Yeah.
I don't want to learn something new in public surrounded by other people because it's like, I feel like an idiot. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But the older I've gotten, the more I'm like, I don't give a shit. I look like a pillock anyway. Berate. So that's why I don't mind walking into fucking Build-A-Bear and building a fucking bear and being excited about it. How have you not seen this film?
For the purposes of the tape, Sarah and Chris went to Build-A-Bear earlier today and made Build-A-Bears, and
it's
Sarah
rough
has
fun.
Is he called Toothless? I can't
It's
remember.
called Toothless! But I named him Toothless.
Oh,
Toothless. And Chris made Bear Buffet.
Yeah.
Bear Buffet. But I don't mind doing that now. I think it's because I'm older and I don't give a shit anymore.
That is part of the reason why the doors have to be closed while I'm at work. Partly because I don't want any noise getting picked up on the microphone while I'm talking to customers, and partly I just don't like people being able to hear me.
Yeah.
And I get really self-conscious of that. It's like, no one is allowed to hear me, even though I'm just talking absolute fucking bullshit about customers' bullshit that no one would fucking care about.
No.
It's like, no one can hear me. That's part of the reason I didn't like sitting next to people so closely
So they can hear you.
back at the thing, is that I don't want to hear what you're doing, and I don't want them to hear me, especially if it was dead and quiet.
Yes,
and then it just feels like everyone is just focusing on everything that you're doing. No.
So you're in a podcast.
I don't give a fuck. I know that I sound like a twat here.
It's from a distance, isn't it?
Yeah,
I suppose. Yeah, it's not
plus
live.
I'm surrounded by.
Not dying alone.
Oh, I would relish that. I would take that right now if I could.
I feel like I'm kind of like, I don't know if I have a phobia, but I'm scared of certain like very like bland things to be scared of, but a lot of it like failure and shit like that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I would say I have a phobia of them, but I don't particularly like clowns.
Oh yeah. What did they do to you? What clown
I just think
touched
they
you?
look creepy.
Yeah, they do.
I'm sorry. When you said really bland things to be scared of, my mind instantly went to sheets of A4 paper.
Cabbage.
Oh no, you don't want to get on the wrong
Cream
side of a
cake.
cabbage.
A two down house.
I can't look at the colour beige, it sets me off.
Children.
Now.
Children and marriage.
No, I mean, fuck those things.
Well, don't
Not
fuck-
literally.
Don't fuck the first thing. You go on a list for that.
Angry beige demon cabbages. That's.
That sounds like a band, Phil. And I'm behind it. I will fund that band.
You want to be behind it. You don't want to be in front of them when they start to charge.
That's it, charging
When
beige cabbage.
when the beige cabbages charge, you want to be behind them.
They only play
I love that one.
Yes.
They just play Wonderwall and Mr. Brightside.
Oh fucking hell.
No, they only play musical instruments that you can find in a primary school. So there's a few with recorders.
The Rainmaker.
A Rainmaker, yeah, maracas,
What-
a triangle.
what was
But
that
more
weird-
than you thought they had.
What was that weird wooden thing that you scraped a stick
Oh
along?
yeah, that. Oh yeah, the yeah.
It's like an old washboard or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I can't
Rainmaker,
remember.
I forgot about that. The weird clacky things on a stick. You know.
You know what they did
yeah.
have in schools? Maracas.
Yeah, more than you thought they did. It's very true.
Yeah.
The bright orange ones, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bright orange ones.
And castanets.
Oh.
Look how we all became crabs then.
Yes. Those are my fields. That's good.
And a sort of weird circular thing on a stick, which was just beads. Beads wrapped around this sort of metal.
Beads,
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah. You could either
You could
twist
twist
it,
it,
thing,
or
you could shake it,
or you could
yeah.
beat someone over the head with
That's
it,
it,
which
that's
we
it,
definitely didn't do
that-
5 times a day.
Do you ever have those sort of like the blue sticks with the bells on them?
Yeah, the
Yes.
reindeer bells.
Yes. Did you ever the one that went? Oh no.
Are we talking about your vagina again?
Yeah, when you tip it upside down, it does make a funny noise. No, you know that there's the one sticks that you tip it upside down and it goes. And then the other one it goes.
I think I vaguely remember this.
Yeah, and they're either like pink or green.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're
Just like
this-
really
they
bright
look
colours.
like dive sticks from a pool.
And they just make that sort of weird wobbly
Yeah,
noise. Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you mean by dive stick?
You remember those pool toys that would sink and they were like sticks, different coloured sticks?
Oh, okay, no,
And
I
then you would
vaguely
dive
remember.
for them.
And you would dive for them.
Do you remember those? This is very off topic, but you mentioned things that you had in the pool. Do you remember those like weighted hoops that you'd
Yes.
get dropped to the bottom of the pool to
Yes.
test if you could go underwater or not?
Yeah. What do you, speaking of pools, what do you think is the worst way to die?
24 hours with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Hello.
Hello.
Worst way to die. I think the most frustrating way to die would either be suffocation or drowning.
I've heard the most painful is burning.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
How
'cause
does someone know that?
Well,
Well,
because,
it
like,
would
if
be
you're
burning
getting
away all
burned
your nerve
alive, like,
endings.
you
I imagine.
physically have to feel your nerves getting like burnt
Dying.
away.
Yeah, I suppose, but after a bit you won't feel it then.
Yeah,
By
no.
that point, you'll be dead.
Well, yeah, that's true. You don't feel
That's good.
anything.
I'll take that one, please.
But yeah, I reckon it's suffocation or drowning. But you say it's burning.
That's what I'm kind of scared of. Knives. I hate the idea of being stabbed.
Or,
I used to have a fear of knives. I also used to be really, really scared of the dark. Were any of you like this, where you'd turn off the light and then you'd have to run? Like,
Yes,
run
before the
up-
demons
like,
got you.
Run up the stairs
Yeah.
or run to the
Oh,
bed before the
yes.
monster gets you.
Oh yeah, you have to do that. That's why you have the night light, so it scares the demons away. Yes, this is just logic.
What the fuck were we all raised on?
The 90s,
that-
man.
Nightmares.
That-
90s, man.
That wasn't even something that was
Yeah.
raised on. It was just something that the light is off now. I must
Demons.
run, otherwise I will die.
Yes, is it? Or the demons will get you. Exactly.
But I can't run because my parents are sleeping in the other room, and if I run, I'll wake them up and then they'll kill me. So it's either
So-
my mum kills me or the demon at the bottom of the stairs kills me.
Yes.
Either way, I'm fucked.
So you're saying
But
death by parent?
my mum is scarier.
Oh, actually, yes. As I can imagine, death by demon or death by mother is probably the worst. Is it
Yeah.
called filicide when you kill your kids? Is it?
Hello.
There you go, filicide. I think there's a specific name for when a parent kills a child.
I think fratricide is killing
Your
a
brother,
a
isn't it?
sibling. Yeah. Yeah, it might be filicide.
Yeah.
Are you
I don't
looking
know if
it
that's
up?
the worst way
I'm
to
looking
die.
it up, but I'm worried it's just gonna come up with murder.
Murder.
If you need help,
But yes.
either that or
Although I've seen-
911 has been dispatched
Yeah,
to
you're
your.
right. Filicide.
Filicide.
Well done.
Thank you. I remembered the noun.
Hey!
For a little bit around 2007, for a couple of years, I had a fear of statues.
Oh,
Ah,
because of
yes,
friggin'
because of the
Doctor
Weeping
Who.
Yeah.
Angels.
That was a very good
In
scary
fact-
episode.
As it's Halloween night and we have watched the first episode of Doctor Who Flux, would you like to ramble a little bit about Doctor Who?
I really liked it actually.
Was it a scary episode?
Not really, but like.
There was some interesting and kind of maybe not gruesome. There was some sort of like, oh wow, that's. I can imagine like little kids would maybe get freaked out by some of the effects in it.
Yeah, like the people who just disintegrated by that.
Yeah. They sort of got Thanos snapped,
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
kinda
which was
cool.
kind of.
And then there was the
cool.
Weeping Angel scene, which actually did make me jump, even though
Yeah.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It made him jump and it made me not giggle, but I did smirk at it because, and we've covered this before, but I don't get scared by horror or things that
No?
are meant to be scary very
No.
easily. I just find them funny.
Do you not get as engrossed in them?
Oh, I'll get engrossed and be like,
Yeah.
this is good. Where's this going? Oh, you stupid bastard! You got your head chopped off. Why did you do that? Oh, and look, he's got big teeth and he's gonna bite you.
But a lot of the time, it's not the gruesome stuff that's scary, is it? It's like the psychological stuff that's scary,
Yeah, the
isn't
stuff
it?
that's
In
that's
films.
sitting there.
See, I'm just
It's
terrible with jump
suspense.
scares. I just don't
What?
like jump scares.
Woman in the black dress. That is all jump scares, and you leave the cinema like this. I'm okay. Paranormal Activity. That shit's scary.
I've never watched the Paranormal Activity. I've seen
Watch it.
clips, but I've never watched one all the way through.
Petrifying.
But
Say they
again,
had like
it's one of those
$3,000
where
budget.
the clips that I have seen was just like, what's going on here?
Because you have to like watch
Why
it.
is this going? And then I just find it funny. Like, I just find like some bitch getting dragged out of a room by a force that you can't see.
Why did I think you were going to say some bitch being dragged out of a room by a foreskin?
Yeah! That
would
is
be
a movie
scary.
I would watch. I
That
want to
is
watch
genuinely
Attack of the
scary.
Demon Foreskins.
What? Speaking of demon foreskin, what
The
is
Jews are raging right now.
what is genuinely? I know that we, apart from Weeping Angels, what is genuinely like the most genuinely scary Doctor Who monster, alien?
I mean,
entity?
I would put the Weeping Angel up there.
Yeah, that is very
Think the
scary.
Cybermen.
This-
I would say the Cybermen are scarier than the Daleks because
Yes.
the Cybermen have a human aspect to them, and that
Yes.
makes
Purely
them
from
scarier.
Yeah.
where they come from.
Yeah.
Especially
When you
if
stop
wa-
and think about what a
What is
Cyberman
Especially
is
if you've
Yeah.
watched the, at least in Modern Who, if you've watched the season 10 finale, that is,
with Capaldi.
that
yeah.
one's fucking creepy.
Is it?
Because they show all of the body horror. Like, they really,
Well,
like,
they don't
dive
go
it.
into like gore or anything, but they do.
No, but, like, they make it very abundantly clear that these are people who are...
Get taken apart.
Who are not people anymore.
Yeah.
Literally, there's like a scene where Bill's walking through a hospital, and she...
Oh, is it the making of the Dalek? That episode?
No, this is
Oh.
what I meant.
Oh.
But she hears, like, something saying pain repeatedly, and she goes into this room.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's one of these patients
Yeah.
who's like a premature early Cyberman.
Yeah.
And this nurse comes in and seemingly shuts it up, so you think, oh, she's giving it a painkiller or something.
Yeah.
No, she just muted it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
she turns the volume up again
up.
and hears it's still
Pain.
saying pain, so she mutes it again. And then she turns up one of the other ones just to see what it's saying, and it's
Yeah.
going, kill me on repeat, and it's
Jesus.
it's really fucking dark.
Yeah, that is really dark.
I think
isn't
the
it?
Simon are really creepy, the Weeping Angels. I'd also kind of put the Silence up there.
They're kind of very Slender Man looking.
Yeah,
aren't
they're the
they?
ones that make you forget when you look away.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of a creepy thought to me because it's like you suddenly don't even remember that there was a threat there.
Yeah.
That's me whenever I leave the room. So that's not
Yeah.
scary. That's just life.
Yeah.
But plus, I've played enough Slender, and oh, fucking god! One time, me and my mates, one of which who was also called Phil and Ben, who you know, were playing Slender. This was the original indie Slender before like Slender the 8 Pages or whatever the hell the sort of remastered version of whatever it was came out. This is the original Slender game. Back when it like just come out and everyone on the internet was going mad about it, and we decided it was a really good idea to turn off all the lights.
No, you silly
This is like at the
boy.
beginning of the second year of uni, and we decided to turn off all the lights. And I think it was in my room, and had my PC on. We were playing all that, and we were taking it in turns, and it was quite fun. Everyone was like, there's a page there. The screen's getting more static. He's coming to get you, and like just sort of messing around with each other. Those two bastards decided we're gonna go and get a drink. And I need a piss. And okay, yeah, fine. I'll have my go. Aha, fucking big mistake.
No.
I was doing quite well. I'd gotten, I think, 4 out of 8 pages. I'd normally never gotten. Normally 4 or 5 is where I'd get to, and then Slenderman would get me.
Right.
So I was making good progress towards getting my 5th page. The music was getting more intense. There was this sort of dum 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 static was sort of starting to creep in around the screen. I was like, Slendy's coming to get me. He's right behind me. Slendy's coming to get me. And then I was trying to remember my way through all these dark fucking trees, and then just as I was getting close to, I think it was the silo or like the oil tanks or wherever it was, but one of the places where one of the 8 pages that you have to find was located,
Yeah.
Ben and Phil burst into my room and scream at me. I lose my shit. And then I just look up at the screen and Slenderman's there,
Oh,
killing me. And then I lose my shit even more. It's like, you fucking bastards!
I bet it was really funny though.
It was really funny after I calmed down 5 minutes later and my heart had decided to go back into my chest.
So what you're saying is you're afraid of Slender Man?
What I'm saying is I'm afraid of other people.
Okay.
Because,
don't trust them.
yeah,
Don't trust
again.
In all fairness, if you think about it, and even in a lot of actual horror stuff, people are the scariest things.
No, people are
Yeah.
shits in these, especially like in Squid Game. People are shit, and in Saw. To bring it back to subject.
So I just very quickly before we
And
wrap
nowhere
up,
more
wanted
than
to
the Little
touch on
Mermaid.
a subject that very quickly wanted to touch on a subject that we probably won't touch on at any other point. So I just wanted to bring it up, especially since it's so close to Halloween. Any listeners who are outside of the UK, which there probably aren't any because who the fuck listens to this, but if there are, then this probably won't make any sense to you. This is just for us Brits. Do you like Bonfire Night? What are your
No,
feelings on Bonfire Night?
I think I've started to prefer Bonfire Night more to Halloween.
Yes.
Because Halloween,
It's like
it's
officially,
alright.
it's officially autumn when you have Bonfire Night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's officially like if you're going to like a big public vampire.
I love going into a public vampire. I was really happy when I
Went to
came
your
of age
first
and
public
could go into my
vampire.
first public vampire. Because before then it was always those
Is this
shady
a porno?
private
This
vampires.
just sounds like
Yeah.
a porno.
You never been to a public vampire?
No.
Oh man,
Public
next year,
bonfire,
next year.
Public bonfire where you've got like mulled wine or you've got hot chocolate and you've got bonfire lolly. Bonfire lolly, toffees, you know those?
We used to always have. Did you ever do Penny for the Guy?
Yes, we did penny for the guy. Usually there's a guy.
Someone would have like a pram or something
Yes.
and they'd get a really
Yeah,
shit
and it's
mannequin
usually a
or
little
something.
kid, yeah, outside.
And
little.
unfortunately, you couldn't chuck the kid on the bonfire.
No, that's it. Penny for the guy, not 2 pence for the kid. You know, change for the kid.
We used to go to, for a little while every year, my family used to go to a big bonfire night in Doncaster. Kind of near where Yorkshire Wildlife Park is, I think, but I don't think the Yorkshire Wildlife Park existed at this point. And it was just this.
And if it did, you were getting
It was just
lots
like
of
this
elephant burgers.
It was just this huge field with like a bunch of like vans that
Yeah.
had like different foods, so like
Yeah,
hot dogs,
yeah.
burgers, that normal kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was a tent with a TV in it. I think that mainly just played music. There were like a couple of
Nice.
screens around that played music. And the bonfire was massive.
Yeah.
The bonfire was about the size of this entire building.
Wow.
It was huge.
Yeah.
This massive bonfire, and then obviously have like the proper professional fireworks display as well.
Yeah.
Which I used to hate fireworks when I was growing up. I
Yeah.
love them now.
Yeah. It just signifies autumn then, doesn't it? I love it. Yeah.
There's where I grew up, just outside of Sunderland. This sort of time of year used to always be new furniture time for
Oh,
people
right.
who lived in the area, because everyone who lived on this estate and like the surrounding blocks, there'd be this massive bonfire in this sort of like playing field hill thing that was like in the middle of. Imagine the playing field's just down the road. It was like that sort of size, but it was in this square like behind all the houses, and everyone would just bring out like their old sofas, old bed frames, tables and chairs, just random shit that they didn't want anymore. It would all just get thrown on this bonfire. And it was like, oh, I'm getting a new sofa coming on Monday.
Someone's got to get rid of it.
So we've been waiting for the bonfire to come round. It's like, Early November was new furniture time.
Nice.
Is it just me, or is that like such a British thing
That
to do?
is so
Rather
good.
than like trying to sell it to someone or put an advert, no, just
Stick
chuck
it
it
on
on a bonfire.
We like bonfire night because usually we go up to my kitchen and we watch all of the
Mm.
fireworks.
That's always really fun.
That's
when we
always
do that.
nice, and we just switch off the lights and we tend to just watch all the fireworks because we live surrounded by parks, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go to the back, you can see everyone down Shire Green or setting fireworks off, and usually the rest of the year you can see everyone else putting fireworks off in Firth Park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for some reason they're a
And see
year-round
each other.
event here.
Yeah, but usually you can see them at the front as well. Can't
Actually, do
you?
you
So it's
remember when
nice.
that happened, like a few years ago, when there was that incident of the
Oh yeah, we were
kids
watching it,
letting off
weren't
the
we?
fireworks down on the roundabout? Or
I'm sure we
something?
were watching it, weren't
Oh,
we? Some kid had put one down the middle of the road.
it just
Yeah.
Yeah.
went.
Yeah, some knobhead.
Another thing I
Don't
love
you
about
children?
No.
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 It was sarcastic.
But another thing I love about this time of year and just like the lead up to Halloween and then bonfire night, where I grew up, there was always a thing, and it was usually around the sort of middle of October. There was a thing called Houghton Feast. I
Right.
lived in a town called Houghton, and it was basically bonfire night without the bonfire.
Okay.
But it was that you would have loved it because it was a nighttime fair.
Oh, cool.
So you'd have this massive.
You know what else is a nighttime fair? The Goose Fair.
The Goose Fair in Nottingham. It was like the Goose Fair in Nottingham.
But
it
Phil,
all
but Phil, Goose.
no fuck off, you twat. There was no goose at the Houghton Feast, but it got its name from way back in traditional times. There was always the feast of a wild boar. In fact, one of the emblems of, I can't remember if it was the secondary school or my primary school. I think it was the secondary school, was a boar. And it goes right back to the ancient times of wild boar, yum yum yum. And they'd have this special sort of barbecue pit thing right at the entrance to this huge fairground field thing, which is where the boar was always prepared and cooked and om nom nom.
Yeah.
So you'd have like wild boar sandwiches and all that sort of stuff and other sort of lovely little om nom noms.
On the bums.
But then it was just rides and attractions and other om nom noms and just all sorts of weird and wonderful shows and shit that would happen just in this field and around the
Cool.
town. Usually started with a parade of fire, like on the opening night. There's like
Wow.
people with like torches and stuff and like parading through the town to the field, and then that was like the
Wow.
beginning of autumn
That
for me.
sounds very Spirited Away. You know, in the at the
It's not
beginning
that
where it's
interesting.
night, where it's like all the spirits coming out at night.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
good. That would be
Yeah.
so much
I
better.
am looking forward to autumn as a season in general. I'm just.
We were in it.
I know, but I mean, like, I like cracking out me jumpers, cracking out me jumpers and me thermals.
I am looking forward to being able to wear like jumpers.
Yeah. It
Lovely
feels like a
stuff.
long time since we've had winter. But I said that last winter. I said, feels like we've had a long time since we've had summer.
Summer can fuck off.
Yeah, I like it.
We haven't had winter since the last time.
I know. It's been about a year, isn't it?
Aye,
Aye.
got to be going on for that. Oh, how long's it been there?
I've just realised you're gonna have to put around this. We never said the topic that we never did the topic that we don't discuss.
We're splitting up in such a quiz.
Was it? I don't remember.
Split it into social group.
And then was it bit before that, so I had to think.
Oh, I don't remember.
And now I am going to have to cut around all this because fuck you, you
Okay,
twat.
right, I
I
got it.
hate you.
Because where's your phone?
Give me a...
Yeah.
That's what you get for having a leg.
Anyway, are we leaving it there?
One last little thing to see us off on this All Hallows Eve.
Ooh, have you got a Halloween related news thing?
No.
Oh.
I
Then
could-
what's the fucking point?
what was the point of doing all of this? No. Favorite monster?
My mother.
And that's gonna do it for this week's episode of the No. As in,
It can be from like the classics like Dracula, the Swamp Thing, Nosferatu, there's a vampire, Mummy. I'm just going through the Universal fucking monsters now. Or even just like the classic sort of horror things like Freddy and Jason and Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head
Pyramid
is
from Silent Hill.
actually
Yeah.
quite terrifying.
Yeah.
I've not played. I've not played much of those sort of games, but Pyramid Head was the one that was.
It's creepy.
This is creepy, partly because it's invincible
Yeah.
and you can't get away from it,
Yeah.
and he will kill you,
Yes.
and he will tickle you with his big pointy pyramid and his big pointy sword blade knife thing,
Yes.
and then he'll go off and fuck a mannequin, and you can't stop him.
Are we still talking about Pyramid Head or Liam Neeson?
Damn. We will find you.
Yes.
Favorite monster? I think vampires, but like before they kept redoing them and redoing them.
Vampires
Before
are
they
redoing
became
them.
sparkle fairies.
Before they became sparkle fairies.
Vampires are just kind of inherently sexy, I think.
Yeah, kind of that. And they are on cereals.
Yeah.
So,
What?
Count
chocolate
Chocula.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Plus, Count. The Count.
The count.
Oh,
The
yes.
Because he really
the
loves
count.
to fuck.
Because
yeah.
they really love.
Well, if we're going with those monsters, Cookie.
Oh. That's a great
You know what I
monster.
haven't seen enough of? Sexy Asian men as vampires.
Oh, there is a K-drama actually.
Of course
with
there
a,
is.
With a sexy Asian vampire. I'll have to
Is
find
it on
you.
Netflix?
I don't know. I don't have a TV.
Well,
What's it called? Do you know?
I don't. I'll find it for you though.
I'm gonna Google it
He
now.
says googling.
well, that'll end our episode as these two have raging vampire bonus.
My Google is now sexy Asian vampire drama. It's now in my Google search history.
Macaw.
Already heard fucking macaw.
Parakeet.
Cockatiel.
Oh,
Cockatoo or a cockatiel?
yes. And
Chaffinch.
Greenfinch. Wagtail.
how hard do I have to hit my head against this corner of the table for me to bleed out?
Swallow.
It's more of a demand than it is.
Dove.
Mallard.
That's a good train, that is. I thought the dragon was going to say something there. You perked him up.
Toucan.
Bird of paradise.
Well, this has been
Quetzalcoatl.
torture for me. What?
Isn't it like? It's a bird, isn't it?
What the fuck is that? Are you mispronouncing axolotl?
No.
Fuck. What Quetzalcoatl?
Is it an Aztec bird? Isn't it like a demon from Aztec
It's
legend?
it's a feathered serpent. Sorry, it's not a bird.
That's an Aztec thing.
Yeah, it is. Well done.
Look at you, two nouns.
I know! 2 nouns right today. Who
I like
am
how one
I?
of the nouns that you know is an ancient Aztec mythological creature.
Yeah.
You don't know your left from right. You can't count to 3, but you do know what the fuck a Quetzalcoatl is. Can you spell it?
IT.
Let's just quit while I'm
And
ahead.
that's going to do it for this week's episode of the We Pay For Your Floor podcast. I have been Andy.
I've been Phil.
And I'm Sarah.
And until the next episode, we will see you later. It's your bit.
Is it? Oh shit, yeah! I remembered 2 things today. Give me a bit of rope. I'm
To
gonna
do what with?
Strang myself. I'm gonna go up to my above ceiling place. Flat. I'm gonna go back to my flat and try and be the most nightmarish neighbour I could possibly be.
Yeah, because we pay for your floor.
You forgot the word flat.
I did.
You can remember Quetzalcoatl, but flat is a bit beyond you right now.